In your role working with adult learners and adult leaders, what do you think is the biggest myth about coaching that you hear, that you'd like to dispel today?
Yeah, I love that question. And thanks for having me. I love coaching so much and seeing so many people who are into it as well. I heard the applause about who's a coach, and there was a lot of excitement. There's lots of different myths that I encounter. One that comes to mind is oftentimes, especially in education, we start niching up our coaching. You're an instructional coach, you're an equity coach, you're a leadership coach. And all of that is lovely and great, except for we are whole creative beings as humans. It's a whole human experience. And so there's this part over here that gets lots of nurturing, instruction, equity, leadership. But then there's the part over here, which oftentimes is mindset, emotional state, competence, self-limiting beliefs that we don't address because we're so focused on education, equity, leadership, whatever, fill in the adjective that you want. And I think the myth for me I'd like to dispel is that coaching is only for this piece over here. But instead, it's about supporting the whole human being. I love the quote, "A rising tide raises all ships." And I think about that for coaching, that coaching is that tide that raises all ships. But if you're only supporting part of the human experience, then the ship is off kilter. And that's not how a rising tide works. It raises the whole thing. So I want to encourage our coaches, and even if you're not a coach, but you're showing up coach-like, because most educators are capable of showing up coach-like, is to remember that we're supporting the whole person, and that if we only focus on one piece, we're really missing the stuff over here. And by the way, I think it's the stuff over here that keeps us from not developing instruction in a way that we want, that keeps us not moving the needle on equity, that keeps our leadership not agile enough. It's this stuff. So if you're feeling like, oh wait, I'm not prepared to coach the whole person, it's just like anything in life. It's a learning, it's a training. Come my way, this is what I do. I train people to coach the whole person, knowing that you're gonna do what you said on that continuum. Dip into your coaching skills, dip into your other skills to support the whole person. So I would like to advocate for more of that and dispel the myth that we're only over here.
I love that, because what you're really saying is that teachers, educators in any role, show up as an actual human being and not a function.
Amen.
Awesome. James, I want to ask you that question as well. What's the biggest myth you hear that you'd like to dispel?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me. It's great being here. I'm super excited, and I love talking to coaches. So I love hearing all the coaches out here cheering. Happy to be here. I think the greatest myth I'd like to dispel regarding coaching is that coaching is something that I need because I am bad at something. And that is such a huge misnomer. The idea of coaching is, so in instruction, if a teacher is the best tool for student improvement, the number one most important thing in education to drive performance for students, to get students to where we all agree they need to be in their various stages of life, are teachers, right? So if we want to continuously have successful tools, right? We want to continuously have successful practitioners. We need to continue to update our tools. We need to continue to sharpen our tools. We need to continue to strengthen our own knowledge, right? And so we need to continue to improve, right? Teaching is a practice, and we need to continue to practice to improve. And if we approach it in that way, then I think the mindset, as we talked about, the mindset of the coachee becomes one of, I just want to get better at this thing, as opposed to, I'm here because I'm deficient in something. So it's really a conversation around what the goal is, but ultimately the idea that you're here because you are deficient in something is a myth that I like to dispel.
Yeah. And what I really think about as you were talking is we want everyone, and we call ourselves lifelong learners. And it sounds like you are describing a lifelong learner.
100%.
It's a commitment to that.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jackie, in your work coaching, working with principals, working with adult learners and leaders, what's the biggest myth you'd like to dispel about coaching?
I really believe that there's this misunderstanding that because I'm a principal or assistant principal, and I move out of the classroom and into an administrative role, that I have all the skills and knowledge I need to do that job. And it's the first time I've done that job. I'm a brand new assistant principal. I'm a brand new principal. I've not done this particular work before. And so I have a whole lot of new learning and actually some personal, those dispositional skills that will help me be good at my job. And so when I reach out to my supervisor and say, I would really love to have a coach, or my supervisor comes to me and says, I'm going to gift you with a coach. Sometimes it's a hard sell to use that kind of, the funding that sometimes it requires if we use external coaches. Yet I'm new at my job, and I need to learn my job, and there is no greater, I believe, professional learning experience, because it's so personal. Coaching is so personal, than to have a coach. And if I decide as the new principal that I want to coach, and I seek a coach out, what I'm really doing is giving myself permission to invest in myself in my own professional learning. And we have to quit thinking that just because someone got hired for a job, that they have everything they will ever need to be successful in the job. Because I can be great in a classroom in a particular school, but I moved to another school as the assistant principal, and I've got a lot to learn. And a coach can help me by asking good questions and facilitating a discussion, me unpack some of that. And then using some of the things you shared earlier, maybe we'll collaborate to figure out my next step, or maybe I don't have enough knowledge in a particular area because the problem is out of my expertise. Then maybe I need that consulting, or I need some additional resources. So I think the biggest misconception is that I'm gonna have everything I need and that I don't need a coach, because we all can be coached. It's the way we get better. So.
Thank you. And yeah, definitely. And one of the things that really comes to mind as I listen to you